know They Forgot a Man was in space and he had to stay there for 10 months? Sergei Krikalev, he was an astronaut for the Soviet Union. But then, while he was in space, the dissolution of the Soviet Union happened. So the place who sent him to space just didn't exist. I think the place that sent him turned into Kazakhstan. I'm not saying that right. Someone was like, hey, go give this guy like a paper. They were gonna give him an official slip that basically relieves him from all his jobs because they're like, yo, the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore, so you gotta apply somewhere else. And then someone else was like, isn't he still in space? And they were like, oh yeah, huh, that dude is in space. I forgot about that. They just forgot about him in space. So then they were like, how are we gonna get him down? The people who funded him, they don't exist anymore. Everyone was like, well, I'm not gonna pay for it. And someone else was like, I'm not paying for it. And then another person was like, sorry, no can do, not gonna pay for it. His mission was only supposed to be 5 months, but then Moscow sent like 3 unprepared, just not qualified people up to space. He's stuck up there because they keep sending people who aren't qualified. And he's like, you know how to land? And they're like, what's that? He was like, I cannot leave y'all with the space station. They're like, yeah, sorry. Space is fun. You're gonna have to stay here. Basically, Krikalev is in a catch-22. He can either go home, finally, but then that would probably be the end of the space station. I think that's so funny that he was like, go to Russia during the 90s or get stranded in space. I can fly up here, so stay in here. But then Krikalev was like, hey, if I stay up here too long, there's long-term effects. The long-term effects if you stay too long in space is risk of cancer, bone loss, cataracts, nasal congestion, infection, psychological issues, muscle atrophy, and immunity problems. So they were like, yeah, we know. Just hang in there, buddy. You got this. Also, because Krikalev spent so much time away from the Earth's center of gravity, he actually is a time traveler. Because, you know, Einstein's relativity equation, if you're up in space, the time goes by faster. So Krikalev is technically 0.2 seconds younger than everybody on Earth. 3 months after he was supposed to go home, Russia and Germany came together, and Russia was like, we should probably get that guy down from space. And Germany was like, yeah, we should. You want to go half on it? Russia was like, okay, I'm down. Germany and Russia, they come together and they send a experienced engineer, someone who Krikalev doesn't have to chaperone or babysit. And they're like, hey, you get to come home. And he's like, this man spent 311 days in space. He almost spent a full year in space, which is like roughly over 10 months. 10 months in space. Y'all are out of your minds. When he finally landed, he had to have 4 men help him out, and they said he was as pale as flour. You're probably thinking to yourself, that was very traumatic. Did he ever go to space again? Yes, he went back to space. He has 803 total days in space. Dude, who are you?